Now, just to me, I think they're gonna give Alyssa Ashcroft a little spin-off in Resident Evil 9. Right? Now, I don't have proof on this. I'm just like spitballing here, but to me, I just think like they'll pretty much do something like with Separate Ways, like the way they did with Ada, like giving her own campaign. Because the thing about Alyssa is that I think her backstory is like pretty dope to tell. Like she was after like Umbrella since like 90, what was it, 1993, and it's just like that's a whole 5 years before the events of Outbreak and Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and what have you. And the thing about it, I would love Resident Evil Outbreak remake and what have you. But the thing about it is, I'm not saying that the remake won't even be in the game. It probably will be in the game. But the thing is, I just think her backstory would be kind of dope to actually go back and retell, because the thing about a lot of people might not know who like Alyssa really is. That people don't know that she was a journalist, and you know she was basically like uncovering like all the conspiracies and everything like that with the Umbrella. And after Outbreak, she basically disappeared until we basically found out that she also uncovered the events of RE7, which is like holy shit. She was there, like not there, but she was actually like uncovering that stuff. And it's just like I think like giving her own standalone DLC, especially with her like I think with the DLC, like even if it's not DLC, like if it's in-game content and what have you, it's like you can have it set as to like 93 of her like becoming a reporter and all that stuff for the I think it's called Raccoon Times. I could have that name separate. It's been like a long time since I actually played the Outbreak series. I haven't played that game in maybe like damn near 20 years. But I just think like what hurt Outbreak in and of itself was the release of Outbreak, because Outbreak came out like 05, if I'm not mistaken. That's a whole year after Resident Evil 4, which I think that's what kind of like hurt the whole game in and of itself. I think that game should have came out in like 03, because that would have been the perfect time for it, if anything. But back to Alyssa, I just think like her backstory would be like so dope, of like start off in like 93, then you can work your way up to like 98, and then you can go through the whole, like you do like time jumps and what have you with her story. Like 98, like 93, she's basically starts off with her partner and everything like that. They go into the hospital, they try to uncover everything, and shit goes left. And then you go into like 98, and from there you play as Grace, basically uncovering like the whole conspiracy behind Umbrella and everything like that, and the whole Victor Gideon stuff can get thrown in there too. Because the thing about Victor Gideon is we don't really know too much about him, except for like he was like a I think he worked for Umbrella. He did like a lot of experiments. So Grace, not Grace, but like with Alyssa, she basically uncovered all the things that he was doing, like with the BOWs and what have you. So to me, I think like going forward, like Alyssa will get her own like almost Separate Ways type of DLC, just to get like a backstory of what the hell she was actually doing during the Outbreak. And the thing about it, I did like the Outbreak games too, because the thing about the Outbreak games was they were basically telling you a story of like Resident Evil before like Leon and Claire and all those guys got there. Basically telling you a story of like regular like survivors just trying to get the hell out of the city. And then we have some dope characters in there too. Like everybody had like their own like abilities and everything. I think it's something like that, like a remake of Outbreak would actually do well, because they have like the online capabilities, and a lot of people might not know that like Outbreak actually was like the game that actually pretty much started like the co-op stuff for Resident Evil. Like that game was pretty much like ahead of its time. And I just think that game didn't get as much love as it should have. I just thought like Outbreak was just a dope game overall, but it just didn't get that love. Like I said, Resident Evil 4 was just an overall just better game, to be honest with you. But I just think like this is like a quick thoughts and whatnot on like Resident Evil 9 Requiem. I think that Alyssa gets her own standalone DLC. Like they can tell her story like with Grace with flashbacks and everything like that, but I almost kind of feel like flashbacks can be used at some points, but I feel like give or take, Alyssa should get like some sort of like standalone like end game portion of the game. Maybe not even control her as well. So that's just my thoughts on it. This is some real quick thoughts. Like I pretty much think that Alyssa should get her own like DLC. I think she will get a DLC, or even like, I keep saying DLC, or like an end game. Like after you beat the game, like you get to play as Alyssa and like see what she went through during like the whole outbreak of Raccoon City and what have you. But let me know what you guys think of this. Do you think like she'll get her own DLC? Do you think end game like we get to play as Alyssa and see what the hell she went through during the whole outbreak series? But the thing about Outbreak also is that Outbreak had like this system in which like you can like legit like it was like a HUD that would show you like the infection rate if you got bit by a zombie or something like that, or attacked by one. It would keep going. I thought that system was so fucking dope, but they never brought that back in the Resident Evil game. I just thought that was so dope, and I kind of hope that they do remake Outbreak and put it inside of Requiem as like a end game type of like you beat the game and you get that. But I don't see like Capcom actually doing that. I just think that we'll get like a standalone Alyssa Ashcroft, and this is what she went through, because her story of like becoming a reporter, being an on-the-run mom, and protecting Grace and everything like that. And I hope that, and one thing I kind of hope they don't do with Requiem is they don't tell the story of like Victor Gideon is like Grace's father or something like that. If anything, I had copium. I was like, maybe Leon winds up being like Grace's dad in the end or something like that. Like Leon met up with Alyssa like their young days and everything like that, because of the whole conspiracy with the umbrella. They got to know each other, and boom, Grace is born and what have you. That's just like my copium take. Like I don't know, that's just like a theory I had, that Leon could want to be in Grace. But it's at the end of all of this, I just hope that Requiem is gonna be a dope game. I'd have like super high hopes for Resident Evil games. I love Resident Evil. There's like plenty of you, but that's how I'm feeling. I'm thinking that they'll give Alyssa Ashcroft. I'm sorry, Alyssa Ashcroft. I hope they give her own like separate campaign to really like paint like what the hell she actually went through during the whole like RE campaign. Because it's also heavily implied that she was also experimented on as well. So that can play a huge role. Maybe Grace, like through the experiments and everything, like Grace caught something that makes her like a BOW or something like that. But I kind of hope it doesn't go that route, because like you also kind of got that story with like Rose and what have you, and Resident Evil 8. So also, will Chris make an appearance? I also think Ada will make an appearance as well. I just think like Ada will make some type of appearance, because if it has something to do with like a virus or something like that, Ada is going to want that just so that she can basically get paid off of it. But I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I'm just rambling at this point, because I think that Alyssa is basically going to get a standalone DLC. I keep saying DLC. End game, like after you beat the game, Alyssa is going to get some sort of like play as Alyssa, see what she went through during the events of the events of the outbreak and what have you. That's like my thoughts on everything. Later, guys. Peace out. And I hope we also get like more like I keep rambling. I hope we get more like something like on the other characters too from the Outbreak series. Like I think Yoko was one of them. She was like, oh, I think Yoko would have like a dope backstory, because she actually worked for Umbrella and what have you. Was betrayed by one of her friends. And a lot of people don't even freaking know, but that game was so good. It's just I just think like when it was released, I just think that release window, that 2005 when it came out, and I think the Outbreak Files 2 came out like a year after, and those are like not the best times to be releasing that game, because you know, like I said, Resident Evil 4 was right there, Resident Evil 7 was on the horizon, not Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 5 was on the horizons. I'm gonna do a playthrough of that as well. But that's just my thoughts. I think that she'll get her own standalone DLC, just because, like I said, her story just, if you tell that story from her like 1993, like being the reporter and getting the scoops and getting like hints and tips that Umbrella's up to no good, and then you kind of do like a little, almost like a time jump to 98 when she's going through all the things that she's going through. I think that would be a dope fucking story to tell with Alyssa and get people more invested in her, like on her character, and then you can kind of like double back and do like a start bringing out the whole other characters from the Outbreak series into like mini roles that they can do in like the in future like RE games. But I don't think per se we'll get a Outbreak remake. I think for like, well, I know we probably do get a remake in this DLC, but I just think Alyssa will get her own standalone game inside of the game. So like something like Separate Ways she'll get. That's my thoughts, guys. I catch you guys in the next one. Like I said, I'm gonna do a playthrough about RE5. It's been like years since I played that game. So later, guys. Peace out. Let me know what your thoughts are on this one.